Most of the health advice that women are given in their 50s and beyond stops working, because what worked for you in your 30s and 40s will stop working when you go into menopause and beyond. And if you don't take steps to make some shifts and some changes, then unfortunately, this is when we can start declining. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can actually get healthier and more in shape as you get older, rather than things going downhill. So in this video, I am going to share 5 shifts that can change absolutely everything for you if you are a woman over the age of 50. The last one actually is probably the most important one, the 5th one. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Sophie Uliano. I'm a New York Times bestselling author. I'm a board-certified nutritionist. I'm a gut health specialist. And I'm a master mindset coach. And I work with women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s to turn things around, to age well, to age powerfully in mind, body, and spirit. So let's get into it. Shift number 1 is action comes before motivation. So a lot of the time we think that we should be motivated. Why aren't I motivated? I've lost my motivation. This is what I hear from women all the time. I just don't know why I'm not motivated anymore. Well, when you were younger, you might have been more motivated. You had kids, you had more energy. Maybe your lifestyle lent itself towards being more motivated. But here's the mistake that most women make, and particularly over the age of 50, you wait to feel motivated. And then when you don't feel motivated, you're like, well, you know, I'll do it next week, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll push it off, I'm just not feeling it, I'm not feeling motivated. Big mistake, because this is how it works. Action becomes before motivation, and then motivation leads to identity. And let me explain how this critical cycle works. And it changes everything when you really understand this, because it's actually neuroscience. So when you take an action, especially when you don't feel like it, a little tiny action, you do the first little thing, and I'm talking about something really little. So instead of I've got to do an hour's workout, how about I'm going to do 5 minutes? I'm literally just going to pick up these weights for 5 minutes and do, like, I don't know, 8 bicep curls, okay? I think we can all agree, for most of us, that is ridiculously easy, you know, depending on the weight of the dumbbells, but you can do it, okay? 5 minutes, you can do it. So you've taken the action. Now, when that happens, dopamine is released. And dopamine is the feel-good, excited, I'm doing it, I'm moving towards something chemical, okay? So that's released. So then that is going to lead you to feel even more motivated. You're probably going to go on and do a little bit more, another 5 minutes, or go and do something else, right? Because now you've got that dopamine, now you've got that excitement. Then that leads to identity, which is I am a woman who gets things done, who is consistent, who sees things through, who keeps promises to herself. Then when you have that identity, that is going to, this loop goes around again. That's going to lead you to taking more action, because now you have the confidence of I can do it. I am somebody who can do things, who is consistent, who can keep promises to herself. That leads to more motivation. Can you see how it's this circular, beautiful feedback loop? And it happens, it really, literally, it is your neuroscience. And so that's the number 1 thing. Do not wait until you feel like doing it. Do not wait until you have motivation. Motivation is very unreliable, notoriously unreliable. So it's learning to just get on with it and do it. The small, easy, sort of ridiculously easy next thing that you can do. And so start making a list of easy things that you can do in all the different areas of your life which lead to aging well and aging powerfully. Whether it is in the nutrition area, whether it's in the exercise area, whether it is in the sleep sleep hygiene area, whether it's in the area, or you can call them buckets. All of these are what I coach on with my clients. Or if it is, not reacting, dealing with chronic stress, etc. So there's all sorts of little things that you can do. But suffice to say, number one is that action comes before motivation. All right, number two is muscle is non-negotiable. So there's an awful lot of talk on all the videos and YouTube and everything else, and arguing about the right diet, for losing weight and belly fat, and then there's all the GLP-1s and absolutely no judgment if that's what you're doing, whether you're doing it with lifestyle or medications, is irrelevant for this particular point, because this particular point is to age well, we need muscle. There is nobody who got to a certain age going in there, a woman who got to her 80s going, I wish I had less muscle on my body, or I wish I had slightly weaker bones. I mean, literally, but obviously, but it's really important to understand the part that muscle plays, strong muscle plays, because muscle is a glucose sink. So muscle helps with glucose sensitivity. Muscle is the root of your metabolism. When you grow lean muscle, you cultivate lean muscle after menopause, you're actually cultivating more mitochondria in your muscles and repairing damaged mitochondria. All of which, the mitochondria are power packs. They're in your cells. You want more and more and more of those, not less of them, okay? And then there's the more obvious thing, obviously, about lean muscle mass, in that it's going to prevent falls, it's going to help you burn fat even when you're sleeping, it's going to help you to build strong bones. So it is absolutely non-negotiable. And I will say, and I've done different videos on building muscle, but I will say it is about lifting heavy. Not necessarily doing more for longer lengths of time, maybe even a shorter length of time, but you must lift heavy. And most of the time I see women not lifting nearly heavy enough, not nearly what they're capable of doing. In order to build lean muscle mass after 50, you're going to have to take your muscles to failure. And that means that the last couple of reps you almost couldn't do. It would just be too hard to do. That you've only got one left in the tank before it becomes unsafe or you lose good form, right? So that needs to be top of your list, okay? The third shift is fiber. So fiber matters more after 50 than ever, okay? Why? And actually it's the thing that I see. I always say it's America's missing nutrient. Why? Many reasons, but you need fiber to get rid of excess estrogen. As we age, we want to get rid of that free floating estrogen in our bloodstream that could be deleterious. We want to all the time be thinking of disease prevention, breast cancer prevention. So it sort of acts as a broom, if you like, helps get rid of that excess estrogen. Okay, that's number one. But the most important thing as a gut health specialist is that you need to be eating enough fiber, insoluble fiber, soluble fiber, kind of fiber that you're going to get in a whole food, plant-based dietary pattern. Because when you eat all these different fibers, I'm not talking a fiber supplement, I'm talking about a diverse variety of fibers. You're feeding the good microbes in your gut. The good microbes in your gut, when you feed them in this way, release metabolites called short-chain fatty acids. These short-chain fatty acids are magical. Why? They help heal your gut lining. They help your overall the health of your gut, which is your immune system. It is your serotonin. 90% of your serotonin, that is the feel-good chemical, is made in your gut. It helps, as I said, repair those leaky junctures in your gut, which must happen after 50 because they get looser after 50, which then can lead to systemic inflammation. Also, when your gut health, your microbiome is healthy, and the only way it can get healthy, by the way, is to keep on feeding the good bacteria, all this beautiful diversity. It creates a feedback loop. There's a bidirectional feedback back loop with your brain. And so you're going to feel better, you're going to feel happier. That's going to in turn make you want to eat healthier foods. So eating, what I don't say is, some women say, well, how many grams of fibre do I need a day? I don't want you to think of it like that. Just want you to think, if you go in the direction of a whole food, plant-based dietary pattern, then you will be getting all of these fibers. And the ones that are most important, think of things like beans and legumes, whole beautiful fruits and vegetables, whole intact grains. This is what feeds your gut. And when your gut is happy, you are happy, healthier, and you will age better. Okay, number 4, your mindset becomes a health strategy. Mindset underpins absolutely everything, or everything downstream of your mindset will suffer if you haven't taken steps to reset your mind every single day. So we talk about mindset, but what is mindset? Well, it's what you're setting your mind to. It's your thoughts and your beliefs that shape your reality. And over 50, it becomes so important, because we can otherwise start really going downhill with our mindset. I'm too old, it's too late, it's too difficult. We start thinking of all the limitations and the difficulties that we have. And it's very easy to become negative, isn't it? And really down on yourself, particularly when your body starts changing, you get the belly fat, maybe your body starts breaking down, you suddenly get a knee injury or a shoulder injury, or certain things happen. Life is in session, isn't it? Not only on our own bodies, but with everything around us in our environment. So this is the stage of life, honestly, ladies, where it becomes so important to master your mindset. And you can turn everything around, even if you're somebody who hasn't necessarily been an optimistic or a positive or a hopeful person for most of your life. Now is the time. You know what I believe? I think that everything that we haven't really dealt with as we were in our 20s, 30s, 40s, and that we brushed under the carpet because we were too busy or we didn't know how to, I think it comes up when we're in menopause and beyond to be dealt with. All of the limiting thoughts and beliefs and the wounds and the dysregulated nervous system, anything that we haven't dealt with comes up. And we're either going to push it under the carpet and get bitter or angry or unhappy or feel hopeless, or it is a time that is ripe for healing all this beautiful inner stuff. It's the inner work that is the secret weapon after 50 and beyond. And then finally, follow what makes you feel alive. I always say follow what makes your heart sing, but it's what makes you feel alive. And you might need to do some journaling on this. So many women I work with, they don't know what makes them feel alive. They're like, I just don't know. I've pushed it down for so many years because I've been so busy taking care of everybody else, fixing everybody else, caretaking everybody else. I'm exhausted. I'm drained. I'm empty. I feel like an empty shell. I've lost my spark. So if you identify with that, there's 2 things that I want to invite you to do. You can look in the description below this video. 1, you could book a breakthrough session with me and my team, and I'll put a link there. And this is for those of you who are really struggling. You're like, I'm struggling right now. I need some help. And this is a beautiful call. It's a complimentary call where we'll really help you get clear on what does make you feel alive and what are the desires that are on your heart that you've been pushing down. We'll also help you look at what you're really struggling with now and see what are the next best steps for you and what might be the best fit for you in terms of help and support. The other thing that you can do is I've created this beautiful masterclass that I'm so proud of. I'm always creating these free masterclasses, and this one is I've really sort of dialed down and honed down, distilled down these mindset shifts that are so important. And so you can enjoy that, make yourself a lovely cup of tea and sit down and watch that from beginning to end, because it's really, really powerful. So those are 2 things that I have for you in the description below. But I want to finish with this thing about the feeling alive. To me, I'm in my early 60s now, and we're going to get wrinkles, we're going to get things in our body that we don't like. We're aging. Hello, is going to happen. But to me, there is nothing that makes a woman more beautiful, attractive, and magnetic than a woman who feels alive. She's like living her life to the fullest. She's kind of excited about what she's doing. It could be she's starting a new project, a new hobby, and she's changed. A lot of women I work with change careers. They're like, I'm going to, in their 60s, I'm going to start something new, or start just doing something. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be little things that just make you feel alive, because you deserve to. I know you. You've been doing for everybody else, haven't you? You've let your needs slip to the bottom of your to-do list. Well, don't keep letting your cup run dry, because you will regret it. One of the greatest regrets of the dying, out of the 5 regrets of the dying, was I wish I'd lived a life where I was more true to myself rather than the life that others expected of me. So take that to heart. All right, so those are 5 shifts to make, and all of them lead to you being healthier and happier. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. Click that subscribe button. There are hundreds of videos on my channel, all pertaining to helping women over the age of 45 live their best, healthiest life. And I'll see you next time.